What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for clicking on the video today. I hope you're doing well. You guys already know the deal. Get your hands ready. Get your fingers ready. Do whatever you gotta do to make that happen. If you gotta take some bleach, put it in a bowl, and put your fingers in there, make sure you let them soak in there for a little bit. Not too long, though, because then it'll start to burn. But, just do that so it's nice and clean, because, we got this whole situation going on in the world, right? Because I need you to be ready to leave a comment down below. I need to know what you guys think about this, guys, especially if you have not heard of this game before, especially if you have not seen this game before. I want to know your opinions, whether you're going to be picking it up, whether you think that it's worth the price, whether you think that they are scamming people or not. Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. Let's go ahead and get into this. So if you guys have ever played zombie survival games in the past, there have been some pretty big ones. The ones that come to my head right off the bat would be Unturned or DayZ. DayZ is a big one. But this game that I'm going to be talking about today seems like it's going to surpass any zombie survival game that has come out in the past. Now, not just zombie survival game, but I think just survival game in general. Because, well, you'll see. I'll get into a couple of points here, but I think that this game has a huge amount of potential. And it seems like the devs really do care about their community. So, I don't know. I'm honestly really looking forward to this. I have been watching this project for the past year and a half, I'd say. And it seems like every single time they post a dev blog, things just get better and better. Things just keep on progressing. And I've wanted to make a video about this game for a while. But I don't know. I just kept on throwing it on the back because I was like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. This is an indie game. I don't know if people are really going to be into it, this, that, and the other. But today I was just like, you know what, whatever. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make a video about this. So let's go ahead and talk about Dead Matter. So Dead Matter is a game being produced by, or created, I should say, by Quantum Integrity Software. It seems to be a very small dev team. It seems to be about 4 or 5 people, but it seems like they are hiring contractors to do certain things, such as create maps or create assets and stuff like that. They're doing most of their assets in-house. They do have their own asset designers, and they also have their own programmers and stuff like that. That's like the core of the team. But for some more, I guess, grandiose things, they seem to be, from what I am gathering, they seem to be contracting stuff out to, I guess, freelancers. So it seems like they go on freelancer.com or something like that and look up a map designer, and they get them to work on like a couple areas here and there. But the actual core of the game, they're developing themselves with their small team. On their website, it says that they have 3 full-time staff and a handful of contractors. That's kind of where I'm getting that inference from. So that seems to be what the team is like. They have 3 full-time staff that are working on the game around the clock, and then they have contractors that they go to and they say, hey, work on this, work on that, and then that's kind of what they have there. So what does this game actually have? One of the key things that they touted is that this game is not going to have any pay-to-win features or anything like that. They're probably going to have some sort of monetization system, but what they said is they're probably going to just link it to cosmetics, which is kind of what we're used to at this point. It's better than anything else, I guess. If they need to have a monetization system, which a lot of games do in order to, remain as a live service, this is the best option we have, right? So there's that. Another thing is that it's going to be a detailed open world interpretation of Alberta, Canada, which I have never been to, but I looked up pictures. Seems like a pretty nice place. So that is really cool. Another thing is that there are going to be a multitude of vehicles, weapons, and stuff like that they're developing. I believe they said as of right now they have 30 weapons in the game. I think they said that in their development vlog 10. I could be mistaken, but they are going to have a multitude of weapons. They're going to have a bunch of subsystems, such as like the way that the zombies are going to interact with the player. Let's say, for example, you shoot your gun. Obviously, the zombies are going to hear that from a certain distance, and they're going to start flocking to you. You can hotwire cars. You can manage your inventory systems. You can put stuff on the back of flatbeds. You can lockpick. You can do, and all these things have mini games, by the way. When I'm saying like lock picking and hot wiring cars and stuff like that, all that stuff has mini games. you can do some pretty interesting stuff, like sawing off the barrel of a long-barreled, double-barreled shotgun and turn it into a short-barreled, double-barreled shotgun. And I think that that's like a really interesting thing that they actually just recently said in the development vlog 11, which I'm really excited for. I think that that's like a cool feature, and that opens up opportunities to other weapons in the future for interesting modifications like that. Another thing is, for example, you can take a bat, hammer and nails, and then you can hammer the nails into the bat. I hope they have some sort of animations for these things, because I think that would be really cool. But they need to also balance the timing of these things, because one issue that I've had with survival games in the past is time gating and making the gameplay feel really, really slow because you're technically crafting something. I don't want them to make it so that it feels like a chore to craft things. I want it to be somewhat fast, but I also want there to be some sense of immersion when I'm doing these things. I don't want it to just instantly appear in my inventory, or I don't want to watch like a loading bar go all the way up. I want to be able to see the animation of, you know, somebody hammering a nail into a bat, and then let's say they do like one nail and they put it away and then they bring it back up, and then, you know, all the nails are in the hammer. Or you know, for example, you have the sawing off of the barrel of the shotgun. You can show that animation if you really wanted to. You know, so you can show them quickly hacking off the barrel. It doesn't have to be super long. It just has to be something to, you know, immerse you in the experience. And I think that that's really cool. Or I hope that they do that. That would be really cool. Another thing is that they're going to have randomly generated locations, so it seems like they're going to have some sort of a dungeon feature, which I think is really awesome. That adds a lot of replayability, and it's definitely something different from other survival games that we've had in the past. I'm sure there are survival games in the past that have had randomly generated dungeons, or randomly generated locations, I should say. But I hope that they take that route with this game, because, as I said, that will just add a lot of replayability. So we'll see what happens with that. Another thing is full modding support, which is immensely important. They're going to fully support the Steam Workshop, so people can import their own assets or create their own assets. So, you know, if they wanted to make their own cars, if they wanted to make their own weapons, if they wanted to make their own locations even, they'd be able to do that with this game. And I think that that's huge. That is so important to you know, increasing the longevity of a game. Think of Fallout, for example, or think of Skyrim, or even Oblivion, but Skyrim was really the main one that started the mod revolution, I would say, where everybody was playing this game for years and years and years and years because of the mods that the game provided. Not only that, but the base game was just really fun to play, but the fact that you were able to mod the game and add whatever you want to it, change whatever you want, add assets, add, you know, dialogue, add whatever you want, that was extremely important to the longevity of Skyrim, right? So I think that if they do this and they actually give full access to the game, this is going to be really important to the longevity of this game, and it's going to allow a lot of replayability. So that will be really cool. There's going to be survival mechanics. So, you know, survival mechanics I'm kind of whatever towards. They're kind of a hit or miss for me. Hopefully they do it right, where it's not like annoying, but at the same time it's not like, you know, super lenient either. They have to get that perfect balance in. But, you know, it's going to be the same survival mechanics that we've seen before: eating, drinking, you know, health, whatever. You have localized damage, so if you get damaged in your leg, you'll, you know, start walking weird. If you get damaged in your arm, you'll start shooting funny. You know, stuff like that. And then also, if one part of your body gets damaged all the way, then you're dead. I mean, that's the way kind of how it works in real life anyway, so that kind of makes sense. But there's also going to be hunting, farming, camping, stuff like that. So, I mean, we'll see how the survival mechanics works. Hopefully it's not too annoying, but I do appreciate the gesture of adding that in, because that adds a little bit of immersion into the thing. But like I said, I just hope it's not annoying, because a lot of other survival games have gotten to that point where it just feels annoying. So we'll see what happens. Another thing that's interesting is I believe there is building in this game, but you don't necessarily have to build. What you can do is you can just go inside of any house or any building in the game, and that could be used as a safe house. Like you can control that building, and as long as you're able to maintain that control, you're gonna own that building. Basically, you're gonna own that place. So that's just another layer of the immersion that you have in this game. You don't have to build your own building. I'm sure you can if you want to, as I said before, but what you're able to do here is just go into any building and claim it as your own, and then start building up from there. Start adding planks to windows, start adding, sheets to windows, start adding, building like things like workshop tables inside, and, bring in water coolers, stuff like that. Like, that's really cool in my opinion. The fact that you can do that with any building in the game, I think that's going to be really important. So they said that there is going to be a full hunting mechanic, like I said before, so you'll be able to hunt and kill animals. You'll be able to get their fur and meat and use that for crafting, so I think that will be very interesting. But like I said, I just hope it's not annoying. I hope it's not, super rare to find animals or anything along those lines. So there's that. And then you'll be able to farm as well. That's a really important thing with, or at least I think, in survival games like this. If you're not able to farm and you're only able to hunt, you're not really able to be self-sufficient. And I like the ability to be self-sufficient. I like the ability of being able to plant your own crops and, cultivate your own food, because that's really important in a scenario like this. You're gonna want to be able to cultivate your own food and be self-sufficient, because you don't want to have to go out every single time you need to eat. So that's actually really cool as well. And then one of the last things I want to mention is that with this game, it seems like what they're doing is they're making it so that the world degrades over time. What I mean by that is there are, like, assets in the world are just gonna start decaying, if that makes sense, and not in a sense of like your building will start to crumble, although that might be the case, I don't know, but it seems like what they were meaning by this is that things like fences, they're going to start bending and warping over time from animals going through it, and this, that, and the other. Like, there are going to be more openings, and let's say you don't have a lot of power or something like that along those lines in the building that you're in, it will just become obviously dark and cold, and you'll start seeing more dust and things along those lines. So it's just another sense of immersion that this game seems to be adding. So some of you might be thinking, okay, this is a crowdfunded game though, and it's done by a small development studio. Like, how small are we talking? Well, what they said was they have about 3 people who are full-time, and then they contract out a bunch of other stuff to other people. Like, let's say they go on freelancer.com, for example, and then they pick out some freelancers to do certain parts of the game. Which I think is fine. I think that's an okay way of developing, as long as the end product is solid, as long as they, they do enough quality control to make sure that everything works the way that it should. And it seems like that's what they're doing. It seems like they're really trying to get that quality down. They've said time and time again, they're tired of seeing other indie developers go out there, promise the world, and then underdevelop, or not only underdevelop, but underdeliver on their promises. And they don't want to be like that. They want to be that shining example of an indie studio who is going to really show that it's possible to do this kind of stuff. And I mean, I commend them for it. And honestly, I believe them. I think that they are really trying to make this game as good as they possibly can. It seems like the people who are behind the project, they really seem to kind of be perfectionists. They seem to really want the game to be as good as it could possibly be, and I appreciate that. They've delayed the game a few times already, by the way. And the reason why was because the game just wasn't up to their par. It wasn't up to their standard, and as I said, I commend them for that. I think that that's a really commendable thing, to delay your game so that it can be as good as it could possibly be. And I think that's the way that it should be, not just for indie development studios, but also for AAA studios. So I really appreciate the fact that they're doing this. Now, they're saying that it's going to be coming out in, I think it's closed alpha in June, so it's coming very soon. I'm really excited for it. I was super excited for it when they said that it was supposed to come, I think they said in November of last year, but then they had to push it back, sadly. But as I said, I completely understand why. So, should you back this game? I don't know. I have no idea. I would suggest if you are really interested in the project, check out their website, check out their dev vlogs, make sure you look at all of their dev vlogs and try and get a sense of trust. Try and feel 100% secure, 100% fine that you are really backing a project that you want to back, right? Make sure you understand all the systems, make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, and then back the project. I honestly think that it's worth it. I think that they are, they're doing something. They're definitely doing something. This isn't like an identity where we're not really sure what's happening behind the scenes. We're not getting any conversation from the devs. We're not, it's not anything like that. They're talking to their community. They're making sure everybody knows what's going on. They're being very transparent, and I appreciate that. So I think that this game is going to be a good thing. I think that is going to be a great thing. Whether or not you should back it, that's your own decision. But if you want to, you could subscribe. I'll be covering this game throughout its entire development cycle. As long as you guys enjoy this kind of content, as long as you guys enjoy this kind of video, I will be covering what happens with this game and just talking about what exactly is going on with this community. And I think I'm going to do that with more indie games just in general in the future. If you guys like that, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to be covering it, so if you want, you could just wait until I get my hands on the game, and you guys can just take a look at it from there and see what this game has to offer and see if it's right for you. And we'll go from there. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Have you been following this project at all, or not really? Are you interested in this game now that you've seen this video, or also not really? Are you skeptical? Why? Why not? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I would really love to hear from you. If you are new here and you haven't already clicked that subscribe button, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go ahead and click that, and make sure you hit that bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Make sure you leave a like on this video to help it out with the algorithm, get it out there, and let people know that you like the video. That would be really awesome. And additionally, if you aren't already, make sure you follow me on Twitter. That's super important. That's super important. And not only do I just post a bunch of funny stuff on there, but I also... This is the best way to keep up to date with me. Whenever I am going to post a new video, or whenever I'm going live on Twitch, or whenever I need to change up my schedule, or whatever it is, you'll be able to get updates from there, because my life is really busy and really hectic. So I would love it if you guys went over to my Twitter, links in the description, and drop me a follow. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I'll catch you in the next video.